Boomflower! Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some DCS World 1.5. We're going to be doing a training mission tonight in the L-39 Albatros. Okay, so we are in the L-39 Albatros. Now this particular model that we're going to be using today is the L-39ZA or Zulu Alpha. This is the weapons model of the L-39, so it's a little bit different than the original C model, Charlie model. So naturally, a lot of the switches and whatnot might be a little bit different from what I've been used to. But let me show you the exterior of this, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started on our little training mission here. All right. Now, first off, major difference between the two aircraft. The L-39 Charlie only has 2 pylons. The Zulu Alpha has 4. So as you can see, we've got it loaded up with 8KO rockets right now, and we are pretty much loaded. Now this texture that I'm using on this particular Albatros is called the Aggressor skin. It was made by a DCS user, and I will have the link below, and you'll probably see it on a screen flashing right now. Now, I of course modified mine because this skin was originally designed for the Charlie model, and I modified it to work on the Zulu Alpha model. And in order to differentiate the two, you may notice I added something on the tail. If you've been watching my FSX episodes, you're probably already familiar with this lady on the tail. This is our Valkyrie. This is actually Gita. If you've been watching my Black Desert Online videos, you also know who Gita is. So that is how we're going to be marking our aircraft for this particular mission here. And you'll notice that I've got a few wingmen. I've got 4 people total in this flight. There's myself in the 1-0 plane. And then in the 1-1 plane, I believe we have Crazy Ivan, who is now working for our side. And in the 1-2 plane, we have Sundowner. I'm sure you remember Sundowner from the F-15 episodes. And in the 1-3 plane, we have Bad Boris. Oh yeah, Bad Boris is on our side as well. So yes, this should be pretty damn good. Okay, so back to our plane, and we'll go ahead and see if we can get this bad boy started up here. Like I said, everything is a little bit different from what I'm used to, and I don't have the exact order down, but that having been said, I'm going to go ahead and do it the way that I remember how to do it. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to turn on a battery. So bam, there we go. And I believe we're also going to need the engine start switch and this. And I'm thinking there's another switch over here. AOA sensor switch. We'll turn it on. There's supposed to be a radio switch. This is it. Okay. We're definitely going to want this on because one of the first things that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to call to the crew chief and have him put the chocks on the wheels. So that's going to be F8. And we want F4 for wheel chocks, and we're going to tell them to place them.
Chief, place the wheel chocks.
Copy. Wheel chocks are now in place.
There we go. Now remind me to take those suckers off when we're ready to start rolling. Otherwise, this is going to be a very short mission. All right, so we're back in here. I've got some of the main switches on that I need to have on. These 3 switches here, we're going to need those for the weapons, so I'll be turning those on momentarily. And then all of this stuff down here I really won't be needing for the mission, but I'm just in the habit of getting all of the switches on, so we'll go ahead and do that. While we're at it, we will set our nav lights to fixed, so that way they are on. I'll leave the taxi lights off for now. We'll go ahead and put the flaps in takeoff position. Now, that won't work just yet until we actually have the engines on and the hydraulics going. Let me remind you, the oxygen is over here. It is already on. We can tell that by this gauge up in the front here. Let me see if I can zoom into it. There we go. You see it's up to 150. That is our oxygen. So, if I were to turn that off, hold on. Come on, baby. Work. There we go. Alright, so let's rotate that clockwise, which will turn it off. By default, it is on. and eventually you will see the oxygen gauge go down to 0. There we go. So right now I have no oxygen, so we're going to want to turn that back on. And we'll keep that on full. There we go. Okay, now, next thing we need to do is get the Saphir turbine engine starter on. So we'll flip the lid up, push that down, close the lid. You can hear it sparking off there. We'll wait for the little light to pop up on this little dash right there. Let's give it a second. It should be on. There it is, turbine starter. Okay, so we are ready and raring to go. Now, before we can do the engine start, of course, we're going to have to call for clearance to do an engine start. So, let's go ahead and do that right now. We'll go ATC. My radio should be on. Let's see. We want Batumi. You know what? I don't think my radio is on. Oh, okay. It is not. Alright. Let's exit that menu. Very crucial thing I forgot. Got to turn on the radio here. Alright, set that to auto. Okay, so let's try that again. F5, Batumi, request startup.
Colt 1-1, request startup.
And no answer. Okay, one of these switches is going to control it, so let me just go ahead and turn that on. I don't remember exactly which one it is, so we may as well just get them all on. Alright, let's try that again. ATC, it's still dark. Interesting. Oh, wait a minute. I think I need to be on channel 13. Am I on channel 13? Yes, I was. Okay. This is the radio control here. The switch is already on by default. That's off, that's on. So, yeah, everything should be fine. Okay, we're getting ADF, so, yeah, this thing should be on. I don't know why it's not on. Worst case scenario, I'll start up without it.
1-1, request startup.
No tengo nada. Alright, I know I've got this on. I don't think I need to do anything with this because it should automatically switch over. Okay, CB weapon switch. Let's get these on and see if that makes a difference. Ah, there we go. Yes, the inverters. Duh. Okay, so now that we've got the inverters on, let's try that again. Batumi, I need to start up, buddy.
Colt 1-1, request startup. Colt 1-1, Batumi, cleared for startup. Wind 311 at 7 meters per second.
Good deal. Okay, so everybody should be starting up now. And what we're going to want to do is flip the cover on this. Push down the button. You're going to see the engine temp starts going up. And we need to put the throttle into idle. Okay, so there we go. We'll watch this for a second here. Make sure everything's looking good. N1 and N2 are going up. Engine temps are going up. Got full tanks of gas. And it's starting to get loud in here. Okay, that should be pretty damn good. What you're hearing there is going to be the radar altimeter. Okay, needle stops right on the yellow. That's where it should be. Radar altimeter. Let's see if we can put you down to 0. Now I'm going to pull that back up to about 30 meters off the deck as soon as I get rid of the warning light. Okay, so that way if I am target fixating, then I will know to pull up. And actually I think I'm going to put it to 50 instead, 50 meters off the deck. Alright, let's see, HSI, since we've got that here, let's go ahead and set that to runway heading, which is 310, right about there. Yes. Okay, looking good, looking good. So we can zoom out of this. Alright, so the engine is on, but the generator is not. So let's go ahead and get the generators on. And I am going to go ahead and get all the weapon systems activated, even though we don't need them just yet. But before I do that, let me go ahead and get this canopy closed, because it's kind of loud. Okay, good deal. Lock it up. Alright, so everything is pretty much set, and what I was saying earlier, I want to get the weapon systems ready to go. Now, we're going to be using rockets, so I really don't need to turn on all the weapon systems, but I'm going to flick the main switch here, and I'm going to slide my joystick over to the right. Because I'm not using a track IR setup, it's going to be difficult for me to do this in flight, so I'm going to try and do this now. So we'll turn that on. That's our main switch. The next switch beside it is going to be for the gun sight, so once I flick that, there you go, we got a gun sight. Then we're going to need the missile firing switch since we're using rockets. These switches we're not going to worry about. That's for bombs, and that's for outer guns and inner guns. We do not have outer and inner guns on here. We just have the rocket pods. Now, continuing the whole weapon setup thing, let's go up top side here to the gun sight. So I'm going to want to set that to about 20. So right there. And I'm going to want to turn this knob till it hits 15 or a little bit past that right there. And we're going to press the semicolon key, which will set our max range. Alright, so that is done. Now, on this panel over here, we're going to want to tell it which pylons we're using as well as how many rockets we're going to fire. So we want outboard station selected as well as inboard station, so that way it'll use both sets of rockets. We don't need guns inner and outer on. We don't need to do any of the rest of this stuff here. This switch is the only other key switch here, the rocket firing mode. If you put it to mission train, it will launch all the rockets at once when you hold down the trigger. If you put it to 2, as you can imagine, it will only launch 2 rockets, one from either side. And we're going to want to set it to 4, so it'll launch 1 rocket from each of the pods. Alright, so that is set. And we're pretty much ready to go, actually. The only other thing that I need to do, you'll notice my air conditioning light is still flashing. So let's go ahead and close that up. And then this will disappear in a second here. We'll wait till it disappears before we call for taxi clearance. Speaking of which, I'm probably going to want to make sure our taxi lights are on. So we'll flick that back towards us, and that'll be the taxi lights. Brakes are currently off. This is the emergency parking brakes here. We don't need to turn that on because we've got shocks on the wheels. We're going to be taking those off in a second. And actually, speaking of which, let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so parent menu, F8, Chief, remove the chocks.
Chief, remove the wheel chock.
There we go. Very nice. Thank you, Chief. Okay, we are just about ready to move, so I'm going to go ahead and put our nav lights to the flash position. That should be good to go. We'll zoom out just a touch here. And let's go ahead and call the tower for clearance. So, F5, Batumi, request taxi to runway.
Colt 1-1, request taxi to runway.
Anytime.
Colt 1-1, Batumi, clear to taxi to runway 31.
There we go. Alright, so we'll go to my usual outside view. Flaps are already set. And we're going to hang a left right here. Okay, now the key thing to remember with the L-39, this thing does not have nose wheel steering. It's got differential braking, so you got to use full rudder, or at least partial rudder, and brakes in order to turn in particular directions, basically. Alright, but I think we just about got it here. I've got my speed just over idle. Any faster than that, and this thing does not like it. And we're going to pull up to the edge of the runway and then wait for the rest of our boys to get into position. So right here should be good. Right there. Alright, brakes. And let's see if our guys are in position yet. Alright. Here comes Ivan, here comes Sundowner, here comes Boris. Okay, we are looking good. They're all going to bunch up here, so while they're bunching up, I'm going to go ahead and get clearance to take off.
Batumi, Colt 1-1, request takeoff.
While I'm at it, I'll put the landing lights on.
Batumi, you are cleared for takeoff when ready.
All right, we have our clearance to take off, so we're going to go ahead and push out. Okay, this is where the differential braking kind of sucks. Trying to line this sucker up is tricky. That's probably as good as I'm going to be able to get here. Oh, come on, baby. Turn, 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 turn. I really don't want to go too far down the runway here, but this will have to do. We'll straighten it up once we're actually launching. Okay, boys, where are you? Waiting patiently for me to leave. Okay, time for us to leave. Alright, everything checks out. Everything looks good. All the switches are on. Weapon switches that we need are currently on. Okay, say this sucker's a go. Alright, let's do this. Brakes down, throttles up. And we're probably going to need to do some rudder here. Okay, N1 is at 100. Put it to full. Brakes off. There we go. Alright, we are tracking down the center line. Want to wait till it gets past 150 kilometers per hour. That yellow line that it's in right now. And we're a little heavy, but we're going to go ahead and rotate. Okay, we're up. We are up. Let's go ahead and get the gear up. Gear is up. Let's go ahead and get the flaps up. Flaps are up. Let's check our configuration. Looking sweeter than cherry pie. Love it. Okay, so we do have a flight plan. So let me go ahead and pull up the knee board real quick here. And there we are. Alright, so we're heading to waypoint 1. I'm going to see if I can get everybody in formation. So we'll go flight, rejoin formation.
Flight, join up.
And we'll see how they're doing. Okay, Ivan is wheels up. Very nice, Ivan. Sundown is almost wheels up. Okay. And Boris. Okay, good deal. Good deal, boys. Good deal.
4, wheels up.
Alright, and let's see where we are. A little ways down the road. Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm going to set it up like right here so that way I can see everything. Really don't need the radar altimeter since we're beyond that now. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Now you will need to use a lot of trim with this sucker. It does not have autopilot. So
Rejoin.
thank you too. Appreciate it. Alright, what do we have here? 1,000 meters. What is that? 1,000 meters per minute?
Rejoin.
Not quite sure how they measure that. But we are going to go up to just over 1,500 meters, that is. So we should be passing 1,000 now. And let's take a quick look outside. Yep, we are at 1150. Okay, I'm going to come off the gas a little bit here so that way my boys can catch up. And I'm going to trim down just a touch here. We'll wait for the guys to catch up. Hopefully they should catch up to me by the time I get to waypoint 1. But now one thing I am going to do, I'm going to go ahead and turn off our landing lights. There we go. We'll keep the nav lights on until everybody's joined up here. One thing I will say about this aircraft, it seems to be a little bit difficult to keep trimmed properly because as you can see, I've got neutral trim right now, but it's still either slightly above or slightly below. So I don't know what's up with that. I'm going to touch it once and you'll see it'll start going up. Yeah, the trim is really sensitive on this and I'm not quite sure why that is. But from what I hear, the real aircraft is like that too. So you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, we are almost at our turnaround. Where the hell are my guys? Guys, where are you? Oh, he's like way the hell behind. Okay, you know what? They'll catch up. Alright, let's go ahead and make our turn here. We're going to the usual target location. That will be over by Kobuleti, that X-shaped airport that you've seen millions of times now. And we placed a few Russian trucks and various other softer targets. I have one armored truck there just to see if we can take it down. And we've got a number of soldiers there that have volunteered to give their lives for our training here. Isn't it wonderful when they volunteer to die for us? Alright, I believe I see the clump of traffic up ahead. So this will be where we want to be. I'm going to go ahead and level out. And we won't need the kneeboard anymore, since as soon as we're done with this attack, we're just heading home. Alright, our altitude is about 1,500 meters, which is right where I want to be if this plane will keep steady. Where are my boys? They're around here somewhere. Oh wait, there's one off to the left side. There they are. There's all three of them. Okay, well, since they are taking forever to join up, I'm going to have them go trail. Yeah, you do that.
4, copy.
Uh-huh.
3, affirm.
Okay. Let me look behind myself here and see if I can find them. We'll turn on the mirror with M. And I can't see anything because it's a fisheye lens. Okay, you know what? Turn that back off. Alright, we are still at 1,500. Let's verify that by going outside here. Well, no, actually we're at 1,055. Okay. My bad, I cannot read the Russian gauges. Alright, let's see if we can get up to 1,500 here. I'm not even going to bother to trim it. I'm going to leave the trim exactly as it is because that's pretty close to center right now. As long as I keep the throttle exactly where it is, then my trim should be okay. At least that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Alright, so in a few moments we will be ready to do our attack run. And I am a little off course, so I'm going to go a bit to the left here. There we go. That's where we want to be. Okay, this is good. This is really good. Now, supposedly, in order to do this kind of an attack, we've got to do a 30-degree dive. I can't gauge what exactly is 30 degrees when I'm diving because I'm usually zoomed in to the gun sight and trying to see if I can at least get a target on so that I can, bomb the hell out of it. But we're going to try it. And we'll see how well this thing works. In worst case scenario, I've got 3 other wingmen behind me who can help me clean up the neighborhood. Speaking of which, where the hell are they? Oh, look at that. Pretty ducks all in a row. Nice. Alright, well now that they're actually in formation, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the nav lights. There we go. Keep that right there so that way when I zoom in, all I will be able to see is a gun sight, which is exactly what I want. I can see Kobuleti Airport off in the distance on the left side of the HUD. Let me do a quick check outside. Okay, there's our targets. I may need to put out the speed brakes as I'm doing my dive here, but considering the fact that I'm not as high as I would like to be, we'll see how well this is going to work. Alright, I'm waiting to see if one of my guys actually calls out targets before I send them to do their attack run after me. Okay, we're getting kind of close to the shore. Let me just kind of put my nose down here a sec. Alright, we're still off center, so we'll go ahead and line up now. Okay, there we go. Okay, as soon as I hit the shoreline, I'm going to go ahead and start our little Stuka dive here. Right about here. And let's see if it works. Throttle to idle. Nose pitching down.
3. Contact target 12 o'clock. 4, 3.
Alright, well you guys are going to engage.
Flight. Engage targets of opportunity.
Alright, let's see if this works.
Roger. 3. Roger. 4. Roger. 4. Engaging target.
Okay, well you go ahead and engage targets. I don't think I got a hit on that.
3. Engaging target.
Oh, nice hits.
3. Running in.
Very nice hits.
Rockets away.
They did better than I did.
3. Target destroyed. 2. Engaging target.
Very nice.
2. Running in. 4. Rockets away.
Oh wow, they got all the soldiers already. Very nice, very nice. Alright.
Engaging primary. 2. Rockets away.
Alright, 2, you do your thing, buddy.
Engaging target. 3. Contact target 12 o'clock. 4, 2.
Okay, good deal. Good deal, boys. Almost forgot to turn the safety on. Or, I guess that would be take the safety off. Okay, so we want to line up here. The only thing is I can't see what the hell's going on below me. Alright, let's go ahead and do our dive. We're a little off center. Yeah, that's a little too short there. Okay. So, we have 2 vehicles remaining. One on this side of the runway and the other one on the other side. Okay. I'm at full throttle. I'm going to head out to sea, get a little bit of altitude, and see if we can come in a little bit steeper. I'm also going to adjust my seat, which is left shift S. There we go. Maybe I can see a little bit better now. Alright, what's the status on my other guys? Okay, there's 2. He's getting ready to run in. There's 3. He's egressing. And there's 4. He's also egressing. Okay, 2 is running in. I'm going to follow him, so we're going to turn around this way. This ought to be interesting. Speed so far is looking good. Oh, one thing I should mention about the rockets. You cannot launch these rockets if your speed is below 310 kilometers per hour. I guess that's some kind of a safety feature in this aircraft. It's the same thing with guns. You cannot fire your guns if your speed is below 400 kilometers per hour. Which is a little unusual, but, you know, it's the Albatros, so we expect some kind of quirks. Alright, so I'm back up at about 1,000, and if 2 and 3 don't get this, then I will. I'm going to come off the gas here a second. Okay, I am at idle. I don't see my boys. I know they're running in. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can do a run here myself. We'll zoom in. Okay. And I think I need to aim a little bit lower than the dot. There we go. Please tell me I got him. Did I get him? Alright, good deal, 2. I think I got him. Or did I? Woo! He got him. Whoa! How about I concentrate on my flying instead of what my boys are doing? That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Alright, let's go ahead and zoom out. We'll do a BDA run real quick here, because I kind of want to see how that little attack fared. I think I still have another salvo of rockets. Oh, okay, well go ahead on, 3. You do your thing, buddy. I'm going to do a BDA here. Alright, what's the verdict? Did we get him? Rounds on target. Nice work, 3. I think this mission might be done then. As soon as he goes kablooey. Ah, look at that. It's like an air show maneuver. Woot, all Russian vehicles destroyed. Okay, boys, form up. We're done here.
Flight. Join up.
Alright, now, what I can do as a shortcut to basically just turn off all the weapon systems would be to turn off the main switch controlling them. So that would be this. So, let me just do a quick put my controls out of the way type thing, and you can see all the lights on the pedestal are gone, so that means everything is dead. I cannot fire. Don't know why the gun sight is still on though. That's kind of weird. Let me see if I can turn that off. There we go. And I should probably turn off the rockets. That's what sucks about not having track IR. And I was using face track no IR for the longest time, but if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I had an issue where all of a sudden my webcam would not recognize it. Or it would not recognize my webcam. And I have no idea what the hell is causing that. I've asked them for tech support and all of that stuff, and nobody helps me, so you know what, screw it. Don't use face track no IR. That's all I can tell you. Alright, boys, are you behind me? I sure as hell hope you're behind me. Okay, there's one. I don't know where Sundown's going, but as long as he gets back on target. And there's Boris. Okay, so they're all following me, essentially, is what I'm getting here. Alright. I am going to call Batumi inbound.
Batumi, Colt, 1-1, inbound.
And I'm going to do a victory roll.
Colt 1-1, Batumi, fly heading 247, 413, QSE 759.25, runway 13, to pattern altitude.
Okay, I think I am pretty much already on that heading that he was talking about. Yeah, I'm at 244, I believe. Okay. Alright, so now that the battle is over, we are going to want to put our lights and everything back on. So, flash. I think that's on flash. Is that on flash? Yes, it is. Okay, so I have that flashing. And then I want my landing lights on. Okay, we're looking good. Let's take a look at where the airport is from here. And I think probably one of the hardest parts of flying the L-39 Albatros, whether it be the Charlie or the Zulu Alpha model, is landing this sucker, especially if you've got stuff hanging off the wings. Now granted, I've been flying the L-39 in FSX for quite some time, if you've been watching those episodes. But this is a whole different animal, and I think this one flies a little bit more quote-unquote realistic. I say that because I've never actually been in the cockpit of a real-life one. But from my understanding, this one has been tested by real-world L-39 pilots, so if they signed off on it, then I would have to imagine that they agree that ED, Eagle Dynamics, knew what they were doing when they came up with this sucker. All I know is we made a bunch of boom flowers, and it's time to head home, and I still got a few rockets under my wings here. Yeah, I should have, what's that, 2 on each pylon. Very nice, very nice. Okay, now, let's see if we can get our guys to go home. So, flight, go to RTB.
Flight, RTB.
There's 2. Okay, good deal. And I think we're going to use this guy as our title shot today. So I'm going to take a quick screenshot there. And let's see, where am I in relation to the runway? Okay, it is time to turn. Let's go ahead and get Batumi back on the line here. I'm going to request azimuth.
Colt, 1-1, request navigation assistance.
I really don't need navigation assistance. I'm just doing that so that way he's on my radio.
Colt 1-1, Batumi, ADS, you're heading 272.
All right, will do, buddy. Now I'm going to need to start losing some altitude as well as some airspeed. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put out the speed brakes for a little bit. There's the speed brakes. Okay, good deal. Request landing.
Colt 1-1. Request landing.
Now we want our airspeed to drop below 300 kilometers per hour. Once that happens, the gear, the flaps, everything's going out and the air brakes have to come back up. While I'm doing that, I'm going to try and see if I can line up on final here before it gets to short final. I should be approximately 50 meters over the deck once I pass that shoreline. So I've got to watch that as well too. Okay, there we go. We are just now dipping below 300, so I'll put the gear out first. That'll give a little bit more drag. And we'll pull up somewhat here. Gotta lose that airspeed. Alright, now we can put the speed brakes back in and the flaps down.
Check landing gears. Wind speed 11.
Okay. Good deal. I'm not quite lined up, but that's okay. We did check and make sure that the gear is out. The flaps are down full. Landing lights are on. Everything's looking good. And we are at that critical speed, so we're going to want to spool up the engines just a touch here and shallow out our approach. I don't want to go below 50 just yet until I'm crossing that shoreline. Okay, this should be it. Are we lined up? I can't even see. I'm going to guess we are. Okay, that's the 50. Let's go ahead and bring this sucker down. We're a little off center, but we'll go ahead and flare. What's the verdict? We're down. Okay, speed brakes can go back out. Let's take a quick check. Looking good, looking good. We'll go ahead and start doing some cadence braking here. Basically love taps on the brakes. Try and bring it in. If I play my cards right, I should be able to turn off at this next taxiway. We're at 43. Let's see if we can get it below 20. There we go. We are now below 20. Alright, good deal. Speed brakes up. Flaps up. Give it another little love tap, and then we will get ready to do some of that differential braking to get off this runway. Very nice, very nice. Okay, right here is my turn. And we'll try not to go off the runway because you know how DCS works when you run off the runway. There we go. Alright, so now I've got to go back to my original parking spot. But before I do that, I probably want to check on the guys and make sure they're all coming in okay. Because ever since I told them to go RTB, I really haven't checked on them, so we'll see in a sec here. Alright, so there is 2. He's making his way in. This is good. There is 3. He's holding in the pattern. And there's 4. 4 is also holding in the pattern. Okay. So, that'll give me enough time to get to my parking spot. I love it. Alright, so we're going to want to go right here. And I really do hope that this new DLC that they've got coming out that redos all the textures, I really hope that they're going to make a lot of these taxiway markings a little bit more visible, because right now it sucks. This whole haven't been kept up since the Cold War business is getting real old real fast. Alright, let's see. I think my parking spot was the first one down here, so yeah. Okay, is it this one? No, it is not this one. It is the next one. There it is. Okay. We'll go ahead and pull into the parking spot here. Full left rudder. Bit of differential braking, and that should swing us around just nicely. Perfect. Okay. Chief, how about you work on them chocks for me there, baby? Wheel chocks, please.
Wheel chocks.
Copy.
Alright, good deal.
Now in place.
And let's see how 2 is doing. 2 is down. And 2 is currently blocking the runway. 2, why are you blocking the runway? Seriously, 2? What are you doing there, buddy? Why don't you rejoin?
Join up.
You're not going to join up. You're just going to stand there. Okay. Well, that's going to make life real interesting for the other guys trying to land. Alright, but you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. Because as far as I'm concerned, we've got mission accomplished. So the only other thing that we need to do now is turn everything off. So let's do this. We already have the weapon systems off, correct? Yes, we do. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn our lights off. And that. Okay, so that's good. And we'll start flicking switches off here. Okay, all of that, all of that. Go ahead and get the inverters off because we won't need the radios. And why can't I hit this one? There we go. And to turn the engine off, there's a couple of ways we can do it. We could either hit the stop engine switch, or we can simply put our throttle to idle. I prefer to do that. So there we go. We'll go ahead and kill the rest of the switches here. Turn that off. And we can now turn off our oxygen. Which would be good, because you know all the Russians are going to want to have a smoke. So yeah, probably safer that way. And we'll go ahead and turn the fuel cutoff off. And we'll unlock our canopy. There we go. It's a beautiful thing, people. It's a beautiful thing. So there we go. That was my little training mission with the L-39 Zulu Alpha in the Valkyrie Aggressor skin. And I thank you so much for watching. This has been BelGeode playing DCS World. Hope you enjoyed this little show, so to speak. And this is going to be interesting watching 3 and 4 come in, especially since 2 is still on the runway there. Yeah, he ain't moving. He is not moving. Okay, well, we'll leave you to watch the fun, folks. If you've enjoyed this, feel free to give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more. And I will catch you on the next one. From sunny Batumi, ciao.